Oh, it's a super duper edition. Reed's Ranch, John Reed, Seth Hughes. Seth, I feel like the vibes for the baseball team should be quite a bit higher than they were the last time we talked.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden they feel like champions that have been there, that know how to win when it matters. How do you feel about the boys?
I think when we ended talking last time, they were down 4-0 to Texas.
You were grumpy. You were grumpy last time we talked.
Yeah, I wasn't in a good mood.
I got many people checking on me or checking on you through me like, hey, is Seth okay? Seth all right? He doesn't have a dog, does he? It didn't die, did it?
Yeah, I wasn't having a good day.
Are you having a good day today?
Yeah.
Sun is shining.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Vols
day.
is still playing. You're still handsome.
Thank you. But they ended up coming back against Texas. Finally, they made a comeback. And since then, they came back again against Wake Forest on Monday night. I just want to take a second to talk about how amazing Tony Vitello is. Like, they've won 14 out of their last 15 regional games. Nobody else does that. Now, people are going to say, look, we expect to win regionals. The only reason we expect to win regionals is because of Tony Vitello.
The reason we expect to win regionals is because he always wins regionals.
Yeah.
That's why you expect it.
You're at home and you have the better team. Okay. Everyone else doesn't do what Tennessee's done. Nobody else does what Tennessee has done. I want to take a second to just... He is... after the game Monday night, Brother Chris Kilby texted me and he said, Tony always delivers. And it's true. It's absolutely insane to have won 14 out of your last 15 regional games, to have won, going back to 2021, every single regional you've played in. I mean, it's incredible.
There's only a handful of programs that have done the same thing. Like
Fullerton did once. I think Miami did once. LSU did once. Florida
LSU had
State
I think LSU had like a nine-year run in like from like 96 to 04 or something like that.
They talked about the other night. I was watching, and I think it was after Southern Miss had lost to Columbia to open up their regional. And they talked about how LSU all-time in regional games, the opening game was 28-0 at home. They had hosted 28 regionals and were 28-0. They'd never gotten upset. Pretty remarkable. Just incredible to be here again. What you talked about, the reigning national champions haven't done this in a while. Gotten to the supers. They keep getting upset in regionals. And it's made sweeter by the fact that Vandy got beat. I mean, it's made sweeter by the fact that all that trash they talked on Twitter after they beat us in the SEC tournament, they got one hit by two Wright State, or I guess the first guy for Wright State was throwing a no-hitter when he got pulled, right? Or was it a one-hitter? The second guy, who had like an ERA over 8, threw a one-hitter in 8 1/3 or 7 1/3 or whatever it was. He had like an ERA of over 8. Vandy led for 1/2 inning of that regional. They had the lead for 1/2 inning of that regional.
The biggest chokers in the sport's history. I mean, they are the worst number 1 overall seed ever. No other number 1 seed had not even failed to make it to a regional championship. So they got to stay home before Sunday night.
It's not like if Vandy had won the regional and their super regional even made it to Omaha, it's not like I would be thinking that, okay, Vandy is a better program than Tennessee. It's not even like that. It's just they had this really good team, got the number 1 overall seed, and they didn't even make it out of the regionals. Like, there's no doubt who the better program is. Their fans just talk so much trash. I wish I could remember. There's this one fan on Twitter, and I hate read his timeline a lot, and he purposefully talks about Texas so he can refer to them as UT. It's amazing. And then just seeing all of them cheering for Wake Forest.
Now they're going to have to saddle up and root for Arkansas, which, I got to be honest, Seth, the storylines surrounding this super regional to me makes it feel like much more of a can't lose.
Really? Okay.
Despite me saying that, making the super regional was something a defending champion hadn't done this decade, despite that, the fact that this feels like it's for the soul of college baseball, the nerds, and the right way versus Tony Vitello's way of playing, the fact that feels like it's on the line, and that you do have teams and fan bases like Vanderbilt, like Arkansas, like LSU, like all those guys that are going to really pounce. It's not going to feel like we accomplished our goal if we lose this. It feels like the bad guys are going to win and get a leg up on us if it happens to us.
So going into regionals, before the bracket was announced, after we beat Texas and it was assumed we would get a top 16 seed, I wanted to be matched up with in the supers. My top choice to be matched up with in the supers was LSU. After that, I was like, give me Arkansas. Because
so you wanted to play those teams.
Yeah, because to me, it's like, look, like would it be much cooler to be playing Murray State right now and guaranteed another trip to Omaha? For sure. Don't get me wrong. But going into it, I was just like, the only way that really losing to Arkansas would really truly suck is if it was on the way to their first national title. If they beat us,
I think it's on the table, though. I think that's on the table.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They look awesome. They look awesome.
Whoever wins this weekend, I think, is going to win the national championship.
They look awesome. Don't get me wrong. They look great. I wanted to play LSU more because I was like, the chances of beating them are higher. Tennessee should have taken that series in Baton Rouge. But I was just like, man, beating them would be so cool. And the fact, like, we won our national title. We're back in the supers. Like, it's still... To me, this weekend is house money. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, losing to Arkansas would suck so bad having to hear them call the Hogs. I mean, it would suck. Don't get me wrong.
Normally, this is where I would call the Hogs because I like doing it and it makes you laugh. But I'm not doing it now because that's how locked in I am for this weekend.
But I am very excited for this weekend. They have a chance to do something really awesome. Beating Arkansas this weekend would be so cool. They look so good. They have the SEC Player of the Year. They have this fleet of pitchers. And just walking in there and just beating them would be so cool.
See, to me, I wanted to play LSU more. Yeah, because I thought Tennessee had a better matchup with them. And, if Dean Curley doesn't have 2 errors in the 9th inning, you win that series. But on the other hand, like I was also thinking, like losing to LSU, would it suck? Yeah, but like it's just another chapter in the rivalry. They've beat us before in Omaha. We've beaten them in a super regional. We retired their coach. We both won national championships. We're kind of they're at least chapter. To me, to me they're the closest to us in terms of at least being that number 1 program in the country. I still think the gap's a little bit there. Based on what we've done in the regionals and super regionals compared to what they've done, only making Omaha the 1 year, since 2017, I believe.
Well, I was getting ready. I had it fired up in the queue. When Little Rock had the lead Monday night, I was like, hey, is it time to have a discussion about Jay Johnson without Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan and, 2 dudes he didn't, is like, is it time to have? But of course, they came back and won. Unfortunately,
the LSU fan I got in my life had fired off a tweet that said Jay Johnson fucking sucks. He says I'm tired of him. So like he already had the discussion, as they were down 5-0 or 5-1, excuse me. Like they were already ready to turn on Jay, and then they get to take advantage of playing the worst team in the field, and they're able to kind of get that done. But with LSU, it would have been another chapter in the rivalry. We haven't really had any of these big series with Arkansas. So to me, that's what makes it such a can't lose series for me this weekend is like we kind of lose our talking points over Arkansas, especially, God forbid, if they go on and win a national championship after that. They would be, in their eyes, a better program, and they would have the head-to-heads in big moments. Tony Vitello is only 2-8.
Yeah, I mean,
against
they've
Arkansas.
beaten Tony, yeah.
Since 2021 as well. So like I'm not even going back before then. Like since 2021, the moment that Vitello started, ascending to the top of the sport, 2-8 against Arkansas.
So we won the Max Ferguson walk-off game, and then we won one in 2023.
No, we won one this year.
This year. That's right.
We got swept. They kicked our ass in 2023.
Okay.
And then they beat us in the SEC championship.
That's when Chase Burns got benched for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
beat us in the SEC championship game. Watched that game with brother Ned. Okay. I'd forget. I whiffed on this year. Yeah. I mean, they've just straight up beaten Tony.
Now, 2021, that was before maybe we had, reached where we were going. I think we've leveled up a full standard deviation since then. But, like, all three of those games were close. We lost all of them by one run. So, like, it hasn't necessarily always been lopsided. And I don't think this series this year was even lopsided. You said we should have beaten LSU. That's correct. But I think if Liam Doyle pitches like he's supposed to in the regular season this year against them, we beat them then, too. And I don't think it was a magical thing of them just being able to hit the best pitcher in the country. I don't think it was really the blister on the finger that was bothering him. I got it on decent authority that Tennessee is aware that he was tipping pitches in that game.
Okay, let's talk about this. Was he tipping pitches in the first game against Miami of Ohio?
The talk was that he figured something out and started doing something different against Miami of Ohio. Yeah, and like there's a
in the middle of the game.
There's a moment like the third inning or so, he all of a sudden starts going and like fixing his grip with his back to the batters.
Okay.
He's basically turning his back and doing that. And the problem, the tail I guess got picked up for the first time by Arkansas. I don't know if that's what necessarily was happening against Texas versus them just hitting his hard fastballs and hitting it far. But yes, against Arkansas, and then in the first half of the Miami of Ohio game, he was tipping his pitches.
Shout out to my best friend Luke, who knows a lot more about baseball than I do. At the beginning, in the early stages of the Miami of Ohio game, he texted me, he said, it just doesn't make sense. The velocity hasn't dropped. I wonder if he's tipping pitches. Because that had been because even Miami of Ohio, he settled down against Miami of Ohio. And then Wake Forest just didn't stand a chance. Because I think, at least in the back of my mind, Monday night, I was like, look, if you can bring him out there with the lead Monday night and he's willing to go, you have to do it. But man, it would suck for him to give up this lead after the season he's had. But they couldn't touch him. So, this was not the first time I had heard this idea of tipping pitches. Shades of Steven Strasburg in the World Series here. They figured it out.
So like that to me gives me confidence that he's going to go in against Arkansas and take care of business. Like I'm not saying he's going to go in there and be untouchable. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and shut them out or whatever. But like I don't think he's going to go down there and get shellacked. Like
they have a great lineup.
I think he's going to go down there and I think he's going to work his way through 6 2/3 and give up 3 runs. And you hope Tennessee's offense can do something.
Unlike Vandy, who, by the way, when we lost to Vandy in the SEC tournament, can we talk about how fluky that was to hit 13 singles, not hit a single one at the shortstop?
They were the perfect team to like just beat us because they just like to run bases and hit singles and put balls in play, and we played bad defense.
13 singles.
Well, you saw where that gets you. Like you saw where it gets you when it matters. Like whenever you're actually playing with real stakes. And yeah, they won the SEC tournament. Good job. But like, I guarantee you they'd trade the SEC tournament to get out of their regional. They'd probably trade the SEC championship just to make it to Monday night and lose that game too and not be embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me a bit about the tipping pitches thing because, Miami of Ohio hit him harder than Wake Forest did on 2 full days of rest. And, was it 2 1/3 inning? However many he had the other night.
2 1/3. It was 7 up, 7 down.
So, it doesn't surprise me. And I want to give him credit because it's by all accounts, there was no chance he was going to be kept out of that game Monday night. And he is very, very, very shortly going to be a multi-millionaire. And he was going to come in and pitch no matter what. They were not going to keep him away from the mound Monday night. And that, look, he's about to have more money than me and you can even dream of. And he was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm going to go pitch for this team I've pitched for 1 year.
I give Vitello all the credit in the world for letting him do it. And, like, yeah, I think that game, you know, stamps Liam Doyle as a Tennessee legend. Like, he to me, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm interested in your thought, we had this talk on the radio today, did that game, did last weekend move him into tier 1 of Tennessee transfers? Because, like, to me, I look at it as tier 1, you know, Dalton Knecht, Hendon Hooker. And Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
And then, like, I do think there's probably something to Chaz Lanier maybe being the most underrated basketball player maybe we've ever had, just because he was a transfer a year after Dalton Knecht. But I think him and, like, Billy Amick, those guys are, like, tier 2. And, you know, there's other guys in there, of course. But, like, where does Doyle fall? Is he tier 1
Yeah, he has to
now?
go on tier A now because he's, like, the first, like, he's one of 4 to ever be nominated for Golden Spikes, which, by the way, it shows you how brutal the Golden Spikes is some years, that, like,
Christian Moore wasn't a finalist.
Yeah, like,
for
Drew
it last year.
Gilbert won the batting title and wasn't even mentioned as a possibility because of people like Wyatt Langford and Dylan Cruz.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, Christian Moore was the 3rd best player in his own conference. And much less a guy that only plays once a weekend to get nominated. Shows you just how kind of weak the field was. Yeah, it basically, it does. It moves him into tier A. And it also means to me that he's not just a mercenary.
Yeah. No, I think that's important too.
And it is important because Hendon Hooker, not a mercenary. Dalton Knecht, I don't think you can call him a mercenary either because he clearly loves UT.
No, I agree. Yeah, and I mean, Knecht would have been at Tennessee. He would have stayed if he could have. I think he would have done an extra year and maybe even given up money to go to the Lakers. I mean, I think he would have considered that. But yeah, no, not a mercenary, VFL, all those things. And Liam Doyle did what we want our athletes to do, which is lay it out on the line for the team and for the school and for the fan base and to win a big game. He could have easily said, no, not going to do it. Like, kind of like Paul Skeens did. I mean, they wouldn't let Paul Skeens throw, or he wouldn't throw against, you know, for LSU during that run on short rest because he was in line to be the first overall pick and didn't want to mess his money up.
And I think that if you asked both of the big time transfers, well, I mean, both of the Ole Miss guys, I think they would both say they wish they had been at UT from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they seem to really love it. Keelan is more is quieter than the other two, you know, but yeah, I mean, it proves that Liam Doyle is not a mercenary.
I don't know if he's quite tier 1 for me yet. That's kind of where I said he's not a no-doubter. I kind of want to see how he pitches this weekend first. Now, like, as far as the want to, you're right. But, like, you got to come through in a big moment here. And doing it against Wake Forest was cool. It'd be really disappointing if he got just absolutely rocked by Arkansas again. And and maybe it's not fair, but it would taint the way maybe I think we view him if he goes out there and just gets absolutely rocked again.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I think that's totally fair. But I'm very excited. I mean, I just think that, like, the chance of beating them this weekend is it's worth it. It's worth the likelihood of losing, whatever that likelihood is. I know that, you know, Arkansas is going to be favored, but I also know this, that when Tennessee steps onto a baseball diamond, the other team is not going to have more talent than they have. And that being said, I'm not sure anybody besides Arkansas can really match them for talent. Maybe LSU can, but, you know, Tennessee's going to be the more talented team on the field.
They should also be the team with more confidence. They should be the team with more confidence because they've got a coaching staff and they've got players on there that have won a lot of big games and won a national championship, and nobody on Arkansas can say the same thing.
They should be loose. It should be fun. It should be quite the scene.
I don't buy into the house money mentality, and I don't think the team will buy into that either.
I don't think the team will either. I'm just talking about purely from my perspective.
Yeah. I think when you're just talking about just being loose, I take that into kind of that mentality too. Like, I want Tennessee to go in there with a chip on their shoulder of it's us against the world type of thing again. Like, hey, like, we're going in there and we're going to go in here and silence all these people and we're going to do what we do. And and we're going to get Tony his first big series win over his old mentor and all that shit. Like, that's what I hope it is. Like, it's Tennessee is the bad guys coming to town, as far as I'm concerned. And I think anybody in Baum Walker is going to be terrified if Tennessee gets off to an early lead in game one.
Oh, man, it's going to get tight.
I always say it, Seth. Not every home court, not every home field has an advantage in certain situations. I've talked about it.
There's some ghosts out on their field.
Right, exactly. Like us against Florida. The Red Sox for 100 years. The New York Knicks just dealt with it, having never won haven't won a championship since 73. Madison Square Garden got a little tight in game one, didn't it? When the Pacers started coming back from down 14, and then you saw how the series worked out. Like, I think Arkansas has got those ghosts too. And I think those ghosts are going to come out and start haunting them if they fall down in game one. And God forbid for them if they lose game one and Liam Doyle's on the mound in game two, that'd be or even Marcus Phillips is on the mound for game two. Those buttholes would be pretty tight. Pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah. I am excited. I think it's a great opportunity. Should be fun. It should be fun.
You'd be good as a player or coach talking to the media.
This to me was, I wanted LSU more. I wanted LSU more. I just like
have fun.
It's like I was talking to my dad at the beginning of the season. We were talking about like how hard our schedule, like the SEC schedule they gave us was, which ended up not being all that bad. Like A&M kind of sucked, whatever. But we didn't get Missouri, but I was like, I want it to be like that. Like, Tennessee is the best program in the country. They win national titles now. They've won the SEC 2 out of the last 3 years going into the season. Like, I want it to be difficult. Tennessee is the alpha. They are the top dog. Give me somebody that is worth the meal for me to be the predator for. I mean, like, yeah, it would be cool to just throttle Murray State this weekend. It'd also be sweet if they go in there and beat Arkansas.
I agree with you on the line of it's worth the risk. I just think the fall is gonna feel bad, man. It's gonna feel like going into Columbus against Ohio State type of thing, like where you're the main event. There's nowhere to hide this weekend for this program or these players. Like, you're the big series. You are 2 of the top 3 programs in the country.
You got Kyle Peterson on the call. Again, the difference between those two is that Tennessee has dudes that the other team, Tennessee can match dudes.
We got Jeremiah Smith on our team this year.
Yeah, Tennessee can match dudes with the other team. That's Tennessee football was a Big Ten team last year, and we've seen for years what Ohio State does to Big Ten teams.
How far of a drive is it to Arkansas to Fayetteville from you?
Like 10
7 hours, 8 hours.
It's a long way.
I assume you're not going.
No, it's a long way. I saw Brother Ned showed me some ticket prices. They were expensive just to stand up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know where as a booster, as someone that's a booster to the program, we could have bought tickets and they weren't charging us much. It was only $40 for the whole weekend. But I assumed they were going to be out there standing. Is what I assumed. I assumed they were going to.
These were like through Ticketmaster, obviously.
Yeah, this was for the school, and I think they were going to have us out there standing. So the flights weren't bad. It was only like $300 to fly from Knoxville to Fayetteville. That wasn't bad.
I wonder if Arkansas fans get on Twitter and complain about secondary market ticket prices and tag their AD like Tennessee fans love to brainlessly do.
The tickets are too expensive.
It's the dumbest thing, man. It's gotten to the point where it makes me mad when I see it.
To get to Sunday's game, I walked in with a guy who bought a standing room ticket. Now, granted, he had to stand, but he paid $10 right before the game.
It's like the other thing that was dumb was when they did the 10% like ticket fee, like going into last year's. Like, it's $70 more a year, guys. Get over it. It's $70 more a year. It's a tank and a half of gas.
If it breaks you, well, they got family, Seth. 4 tickets, that's $280.
Yeah, I just seeing our fans complain to Danny about the Ticketmaster prices as if Danny White is the invisible hand.
No. It's not even the Ticketmaster prices. It's the StubHub prices.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I know Ticketmaster has some resale too, but like StubHub is 100% resale, and they get on there and bitch about that.
Like he can control it. He's the invisible hand. Give me a break, guys.
As we're playing for a fifth straight regional championship.
Yeah. It drives me insane. It's gotten to the point where it makes me mad. It makes me mad. Like I get irritated when I see these fans. Talk about it on Twitter.
Patreon.com/Reed's Ranch. Doing a watch party. If you guys are in town on Saturday, come hang out. Barley's, 5 p.m. in the Old City. Hoping to have a good crowd there as Tennessee hopefully takes game one. Shout out to our new $2 patron, Matt Price.
Shout out to brother Matt, a.k.a. Matthew. We love you and appreciate you.
That's it. Let's get to some questions. Did they catch you by surprise? You weren't ready?
Brother AJ asks, I need to scroll up. Thoughts on the Vols turning up the heat once the podcast came back?
You're welcome.
I mean, as we did the last podcast, Tennessee was about to mount its comeback against Texas.
And then they got it done. They got to watch along live with us. And then we got our ass kicked by Vandy. But then we took care of business in the regional. You're welcome.
Brother OG Matt asks,
for the first time ever, good question by AJ. Wow, he's not that big of a dumbass. He finally did it. Round of applause for AJ. He asked a good question. Thank you, AJ.
Brother OG Matt, since this is the worst storm season in a long time, what is your best tornado story?
I don't really have one. I don't feel like tornadoes have really affected me too much. I remember driving through, I want to say Alabama, on the way to the beach one time when a tornado was coming through, and my mom made us go walk around Walmart for like 3 hours. That's pretty much the only one I got.
Strangely enough, my best did occur in Knoxville. The day of those in 2011 when the tornadoes were so bad, like the whole Southeast. I had wrecked my car on Gay Street Bridge. And the day I got it back, it got totaled by the hail from that storm. I had it back one day. That sucked. That was a crazy day. That was there were actual tornadoes in Knoxville, like touching down on I-40, which is rare.
Yeah, I mean, one just hit right down the road in Philadelphia. Exit 68 there down the interstate on Friday. Just kind of came out of nowhere and hit last week.
Those are the ones that are the worst. It's like a lot of times here, most of the time here, you are warned a week in advance. You're warned a week in advance. That time in April in 2011, we were warned so many days. And I mean, there was a meteorologist in Huntsville that, because they knew that it was going to be bad so far ahead in advance, he still went to a weather conference for meteorologists that time instead of being here, and he got fired.
No.
So far ahead in advance.
Because he didn't know. Okay,
he did know. He chose to go anyway, and so they canned him. They were like, "You can't do that." So it's the ones where it just pops up out of nowhere, like it did in Nashville a couple years ago. It was like 2 a.m. and all of a sudden, like a tornado just dropped down out of the ground. Any
idea where that conference was at? The Weatherman Conference? Probably somewhere sunny, I'd imagine.
I hope so.
He Ted cruised it, and the guy has fired. He's like, "I'm out of here."
He got fired.
I'm not sticking around for this.
Brother Brizzy asks, thoughts on the coach with the situation with the Wake Forest coach.
What situation with the Wake Forest coach?
And the slur he uttered.
I was at the game. Can you fill me in?
I found the discussion absolutely nauseating. And I don't mean in the sense that Wes Rucker was extremely tiresome about it. Was he tiresome about it? Yes. Was Wes Rucker way too up in arms about it? Yes. What absolutely sent me over the edge about it was seeing all these Tennessee fans talking about it, clutching pearls, tweeting out the video, talking about how bad a guy was. Every single one of these Tennessee fans doing that is against the so-called cancel culture. They're all against this cancel culture. But they're going to go out there and they're going to weep and gnash teeth and put on sackcloth and ashes and flail themselves with a cat of nine tails over this coach muttering something under his breath. Okay? All because it's their beloved team. The man gave a kidney to one of his players. He gave a kidney to one of his players, who, by the way, was black. Okay? He's not a bad guy.
Would you have felt the same way had the slur he used on camera been the one about black people?
Well, it would have been worse.
But I'm saying, would you have then?
Yeah, that would have been totally different if he said that.
Okay.
Right? Am I wrong?
I'm asking you. I mean, I didn't care. Yes, I do think you're right. I found the hand wringing over it to be nauseating as well. I retweeted it and just said, "Hey, yo, I don't think you can say that." Just kind of laughing during the game.
I just found all these Tennessee fans who they all voted for Donald Trump, which I'm not hating on that. I didn't vote, but if I'd voted, I would have voted for Donald Trump. They voted for Donald Trump. They're conservative leaning. They are against cancel culture. And they're all just clutching their pearls and talking about, what do you want Wake Forest to do? Do you want him to get fired? Do you want this man to lose his job? What do you want to happen?
Personally, just from my perspective, and I wasn't on there trying to lead the charge or anything, I just got stuck with a bunch of nameless, faceless Avies in my replies. Be like, this is great that he says it. I say it with my friends all the time. One guy's like, I say this 8 times a day. Snowflake. And I'm like, I don't care. Say whatever you want. Whatever. I'm just laughing at it. But what I wanted personally was for John Curry just to be annoyed.
Yeah.
I just kind of want John Curry to have to deal with it and just be a little annoyed. I do have mostly positive feelings about John Curry now, just because A, the Shiano Sunday moment was pretty good for my career, and B, he did hire Tony Vitello. So I just wanted John Curry to be a little annoyed.
And it's like, so first of all, the Venn diagram, imagine, if you will, in your head, a Venn diagram. The Venn diagram of Tennessee fans on Twitter that complain about secondary market ticket prices and the fans that tweeted out about him saying that, it completely overlaps. They're the same people. Like, what did you want to happen? Do you feel better now that he released some boilerplate PR apology? Do you feel better now? Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel vindicated for Andrew Fisher, who I can tell you that Andrew Fisher didn't care. Andrew Fisher didn't care. He probably thinks it's funny.
No, I bet he cared. I disagree there.
After the fact, you don't think he thought it was funny?
Oh, the fact he hit a home run made it funny, but if he had
like
struck out.
I'm not talking about during the moment. I'm talking about like looking back on it, knowing he made this coach so mad.
Oh, sure. But I think if he had known that the coach had called him that, he would have had a problem with it.
During the moment for sure. But like after the fact, like.
Well, no, it's really cool. It's really cool for Fisher now to have that moment lead into a 2-run home run. I'm just saying, I don't think it was nice for the coach to call him that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I
think he'd have a problem with him being called that
from the coach's perspective. I didn't think it was nice of him to let a true freshman right-hander with an ERA of over 7 throw to the best left-handed batter in the conference. But he did it, and I'm thankful for it. I mean, for that whole night and the next day, every time I got on Twitter, it was that. And it was just like, what's the purpose? And then I saw some like a UT fan, rural Vol maybe, I don't know, somebody that paid for a blue check mark. And it's like, none of us, we all think it's kind of funny. And I'm just like, well, y'all won't shut up clutching pearls about it. What do you want to happen? The man muttered something under his breath.
The veins on your neck are popping out right now.
It's because I've been lifting so much.
You do look a little bulkier.
I've been lifting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I just found it so exhausting. Here. People that are against cancel culture and it wasn't like, you want to get them in trouble? What do you want to happen to them?
I'm personally okay with cancel culture. I don't know if I'm against it. I think sometimes it's justified. Sometimes I think it's good.
Well, I'm saying all these people are against it, and here they are trying to get this man canceled who donated a kidney to one of his own players.
I don't know what him being black had to do with that, but
well, I just figured if they're going to accuse him of hating gay people, it's very soon they're going to start talking about how he hates black people.
Oh, you just want to get out ahead of it. Okay, gotcha.
I'm just getting out ahead of it.
Yeah. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I'm just getting out ahead of it.
Probably smart. You're probably all right. That's that slippery slope. You know what I mean? Like that's what people.
Do you think
about.
These jackals on Twitter, at the mere mention of racism, they would have come out here talking about how Tom Walters wears a hood in his spare time?
I
think that's his name, Tom Walters.
Are you on steroids with your lifting? Are you taking?
It's all natural, baby. I take a salt tablet. Take a salt tablet and a multivitamin.
No creatine, nothing that gets the heart going.
No, I've been reading about like that. I've been reading lately about the health effects of just taking creatine.
Is it bad?
No, it's good. It's supposed to be
you about made my heart drop because I was gonna say I do take some creatine. I need to take it every day, and sometimes I just take it before I work out on the days I work
supposedly, I haven't delved too far deep into it, but apparently there's some just widespread health benefits.
Yeah, that's what Logie sent me a while back. So I do take creatine, but again, I used to take it every morning, but now I'm down to like 4 times a week, 3 times a week doing it. But
here's a health hack. Here's a health hack for all the plebs that are listening. The greatest supplement that you can take is 1 hour of sunlight a day. Get outside for 1 hour a day. You'll feel immensely better. There you go. That's all it takes.
Is that backed up by data or just from your experience?
Both. I mean, do I think therapy works for men? No, of course it doesn't work for men. It's absolute nonsense for men. What men need to do is get outside and be active and have friends that they hang out with. But yeah, sunlight is like a natural. You're just going to feel better if you're out in the sun. Look at me. I feel great right now. It's because I spend an hour outside every day.
That's true. You do seem very happy. You do seem very joyous and not wound too tight or anything. You're definitely not screaming a heart attack in a couple of years. Yeah, you definitely seem like the blood pressure's in control. Do you think there's that tipping point with too much sun?
Of course there is.
I feel like I used to be out in the sun too much, and I was very cranky all the time. But maybe an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, all these people, they're feeling down. Go walk for 30 minutes outside. Just do it. Walk for 30 minutes a day outside.
It's pretty good advice.
Just walk for 30 minutes outside. Just go walk. Walk. Just start walking. Start walking.
Look both ways before you go across the street.
Yeah.
Don't get hit by a car, but any other questions?
Let me scroll back up again. Well, I would like to issue a preemptive congratulations to Brother Jonathan Toy, whose wife is having a baby tomorrow.
Let's go.
So
shout out to Toy.
Huge news for a terrific young man, a terrific young lady.
So the baby's going to be born on Friday the 6th. Well, then why was he saying he couldn't come to the watch party on Saturday the 7th?
Let me read what he texted me earlier.
Yeah,
today,
make sure. He was saying he couldn't come to the watch party because of the baby, but like if it's born on the 6th, surely he doesn't need to be there on the 7th. It's just going to sleep.
Induction is scheduled for 5 a.m. tomorrow. So right now, I would like to let Jonathan Toy know that Tennessee does not play until Saturday.
Yeah, he's expected at the watch party.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's probably not going to miss the game because his baby's being born.
Well, you know, Chris Kilby came to the tailgate.
He did.
And went to the BYU game surrounding the birth of his child. So, I mean, at least we know between Kilby and Toy who's more balled up and who likes and loves the brothers and sisters of Reed Ranch more. Because Kilby was there tailgating.
Lest we forget, Brother Kilby's sacrifice for that. I mean, that a game that will live in infamy. Alante Taylor getting burnt. No, those are the only questions I have. I'm done ranting about this annoying. That's it. Let's just go beat Arkansas. You know, I was disappointed. I was sad about the softball team. I'm not gonna lie, I was sad. That was tough. That's tough. Their side of the bracket, Not a single top 8 seed lost. All 4 top 8 seeds made it to Oklahoma City on their side of the bracket. On the other side of the bracket, not a single top 8 seed did. Tough. A brutal loss to Oklahoma to open up. I mean, just beyond a brutal loss to Oklahoma to open things up.
Hard to come back from that.
Yep. But to their credit, they came out and they whipped Florida the next day and beat UCLA, even though the umpires tried to steal it from them. I didn't get to watch the game against Texas because I was at work, but just,
Just couldn't score.
Yeah. Yep. She's been to like a billion semifinals now, second in 3 years. Just cannot get over the hump. It sucks. No, probably nobody deserves it more than her and Rick Barnes. But yeah. No, that's all I got. I'm very excited for our series against Arkansas. I'm excited for Super Regionals overall. I love squeeze play so much. I love watching squeeze play so much. I did nothing last weekend except watch squeeze play and spend an hour outside every day, but typically in the mornings before squeeze play started.
Shout out to Chris Budden.
Yeah.
You need to be careful. That neck, those veins in that neck is worrying me a little bit. I don't feel like I need to ask. I know what the answer is going to be, but Tennessee winning the series this weekend?
Yes, they're winning the series. Why would it? Why?
Oh.
Okay. Time out.
Whoa.
I just told you. No, I don't want to hear this from you. I just told you that I wanted to play somebody every weekend who was awesome because Tennessee is the top dog. Can you imagine? Can you imagine following this Tennessee baseball program and going into any series thinking, man, we're going to lose? We talked about this last time. Every single time we were in a game 3, even as bad as we were playing, you thought, all right, we're going to snap out of it this time. My dad, the last time we did a podcast, I was having to go pick up my parents from the airport. The first thing my dad does when he gets in American soil during this podcast that we were doing is he's complaining that we hadn't scored any runs against Texas. And I text him back during the podcast. I'm like, Dad, chill out. It's Tony Vitello. They're going to score. Until the 27th out has been made, have faith in this man. He deserves that much. Of course I expect to win. It's Tennessee baseball. We're better than everybody else. Why would you be a fan if you don't think that this program that has done so much, has beaten everyone, isn't going to win? What's the point of being a fan? This ain't Tennessee football going to Ohio State that has an NFL team.
I can't say it any better myself, okay?
Just be a fan. Be a fan.
All right. I think we're going to win too. Yeah.
I think it's going to be glorious.
We don't even need a game 3. We're going to win 1 and 2.
Oh, man. Seeing Marcus Phillips ice it.
So do you think, just on the way out, you think that they will go Doyle game 1?
Yeah, I think so. Since he did last weekend.
I just figured with him maybe having to pitch, it might give him the extra day rest. And since Phillips won down there in game 1, they might let him go first.
But I don't know that. I mean, I guess he'll announce a starter tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's go. Remember, if you're in the area and you want to come hang out, trying to get a good crowd over at Barley's in the Old City. Seth, I love you. Again, breathe a little bit. Maybe lay off the steroids, the creatine. Just be careful. I don't know if you're meant to be bulky. You couldn't live as a heavy set man.
Oh no, I'm not going to get bulky. I just been, I've been doing some bench press. Messed up my wrist though.
Yeah, it does make the wrist a little tender.
And it's been like a month now, and it's still like twinging. And I'm like, man,
you just got to fight through it.
Yeah, I know.
Are you lifting by yourself, or you got a partner?
Yeah. I lift by myself. Yeah.
You going to the gym and doing it, or you got a home workout area?
The HOA has a gym. We have a gym with the HOA.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. I can't wait to see your growth over the summer.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend, buddy. Let's beat Arkansas.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.